A while back, I talked about this guy named Jerome Jackson. He's running for office. He did this famous political ad, or now famous political ad, about the KKK. This is from early July 2022. Let's just watch the ad for a second. Keep in mind, he's a Republican. He's running as a Republican. He's friends with Alex Jones, of all people. He's been on his show, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. But that's kind of the perspective that he takes. Watch his political ad about the KKK. Back in February, YouTube gave me 5 strikes for hate speech. If you know anything about me, you'll know that's completely absurd. They were all denied on appeal. What's even more concerning is the fact that it only takes 3 strikes before your channel is permanently deleted. Well, YouTube seems to be doing it again. I just received my 2nd strike in a week on my Fireside Chat channel. I can't upload there for a week. If you want to help me fight the 7th strike and have this one repealed like the other 6, click the Twitter link in the description and retweet it. That seems to be the only thing they pay attention to anymore. Anyways, thanks for sticking with me through this. Let's get back to the video.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense, that no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
It's very much structured like a full-blown political ad, but it's insane. It's completely ignoring the fact that the Republican Party is the party of the KKK. David Duke, the leader of the KKK, or the former leader, I don't know which now, he voted for Trump. He's voted Republican in the last who knows how many elections. There was a party switch back in the 1960s around the time Nixon was running. Democrats were historically the Southern racist party, and Republicans were the party of freedom. They were the liberal party. That's why Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, because he was the liberal, more freedom-centered party. And when Nixon started running for office, he ran as a Republican, but he used a strategy that he called the Southern strategy, and the goal was to dog whistle to Southern racists, Dixiecrats, people who were old Democrats but who were disillusioned with where the Democratic Party had gone. That is when the party switch really happened, and there was so much confusion over who believed what and which party believed in what thing that Richard Nixon, famous Republican, pretty far-right figure, won every single state in his election except Massachusetts. He won California and New York and Georgia and Mississippi and Texas and Florida and Ohio and all of them. Every state but Massachusetts. That's how much confusion there was at the time when the parties were switching. So I have to imagine this guy knows that, right? He must know that. If he does, then I must wonder why he's carrying water for the KKK. Why is he rehabilitating their image by making people think that they're Democrats and not Republicans? It's so deeply dirty what he's doing. And disgusting, just awful. Anyway, as it turns out, he's on the news for saying even more bizarre stuff. Even more bizarre stuff. This one is from mid-August 2022. He went on the Diamond and Silk show. They have a TV show on the Lindell TV network, Mike Lindell's show. These two people on the left, Diamond and Silk, they are far-right extremists. QAnon believers, the Great Reset conspiracists, the whole 9 yards. Absolutely unhinged. So he goes on their show to talk to them. Listen to what he had to say here, mid-August 2022.
Whether in office or not, I am going to wage a perpetual war against the Democrats because they are the enemies of this country. They are the enemy of humanity. Their policies are anti-human. Their policies are anti-God. Their policies are anti-right. And I don't understand why Christians and people who say that they love God and love everything that's normal support Democrats. I mean, I don't understand this.
What policies is he talking about that are so evil, morally evil, anti-right and anti-God and all? What policies is he even talking about? The Democratic Party's policies have only ever really been moderate, barely moderate. Honestly, it's kind of a center-right party, to be perfectly honest. How are they anti-God? Are they anti-God because they pushed for equality? It would be one thing if this guy was just some rando standing out on the street screaming about this. He's not. He's a politician that's running for office right now. And what's more, he's not the only one repeating this kind of idea. And we're going to get to some other people that are saying something similar in a minute. Keep listening to this.
They act as if they cannot see the affliction and pain that these demonic people are inflicting upon everyday Americans.
Listen to the language that he's using. Demonic people. Demonic people. He believes them to be like possessed or controlled by Satan or whatever. This is dehumanizing, dangerous language that he's using right now. Oh, and by the way, it's not just Democrats. He's talking about anybody to the left of taking out the homeless for sport. I'm not a Democrat, but I fall into the category in his mind. So for all intents and purposes, I am a Democrat in this episode, even though I'm not really. I'll refer to myself as such, just for simplicity's sake.
Upon everyday Americans.
Yeah.
This is abnormal. It's not normal.
Yeah.
It's very satanic. And I believe that the spirit of the Antichrist is erecting itself through the Democrat Party.
The spirit of the Antichrist. See, this is what happens when you get religion inextricably linked to politics. This exact thing. You know, if things don't go my way politically, there are solutions. I can solve that problem by moving to another country at any cost, whatever it took. You know, if things get bad enough, I will sell my refrigerator. I will sell my microphones and my everything to get out. If they're coming after me and I need to get out of this country, I will come up with the money. I'll stand outside a gas station and beg if that's what it takes to get out if they're coming after me. That's my solution. You know what isn't my solution? Doing some crazy thing like taking my own life or something. That's not a good solution to a political problem. 99.9% of the time. You don't get that type of thing as a solution in your head unless you view it as an existential threat. Like you have no way out, they've backed you into a corner, and you're going to lose your mortal soul or something over this. That is when you're willing to take your life or take somebody else's to solve a problem. If it's a political issue, you find other ways to solve it. That's why mixing religion and politics is so deeply dangerous. Because Republicans no longer view this as a, oh my God, this candidate just won and he's going to destroy the country. I need to get out of this country immediately. They don't view it that way anymore. They view it as a, oh my God, Joe Biden is a demon and he just stole this and trampled all over what God wanted. I have to do something about this. That's how they view it. The solution is no longer in the realm of reasonability. It is now in the realm of spirituality, and anything goes when it comes to that. That's why it's so deeply disturbing to hear these people mix religion and politics this way. Mixing them at all is bad, but mixing them this way is a new level. A new level.
And I believe that the spirit of the Antichrist is erecting itself through the Democrat Party.
This is bad. This is real bad that they're using language like this. That's not the first time he said something like that either. This one's from mid-July 2022.
Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who's going to come back on this earth for 1,000 years and reign on this earth 1,000 years, is a political figure, and the government shall be on his shoulder, according to Isaiah 9. But the Antichrist is also a political figure. Yes. And he's also making his move in this last day. I see it being birthed and manifested through the Democrat Party. I see a spiritual battle brewing in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And evil has manifested itself through the Democrat Party. I see them as a criminal cartel. I see them as traffickers, supporters of all types of evil. They are drug dealers, weapon dealers, and they need to be stopped.
So leave. Leave the country if that's what it is. Go to Canada. Go to New Zealand. Go to Australia. Go to Britain. Go to Ireland, to Scotland, anywhere. There are a billion places you can go. Hell, go to Russia. If it's so bad in the U.S., go anywhere in the world. Anywhere. You're rich. This guy was a football player, I think. He's filthy rich. He's got all kinds of money. He doesn't have to live in the U.S. Move. You know why that's not a solution to the problem for him or for millions and millions and millions of other Americans? It's not because he doesn't have the money. It's never because they don't have the money in these cases. It's because they believe God has a covenant with the United States, and they've been tasked with defending that covenant with their life. They believe if a Republican doesn't take office, the government is not ordained by God, and they have to do something about it. This is what happens when you mix religion and politics. We see the Middle East as an example of just how far an empire can fall if it inextricably links religion into its government. The Founding Fathers knew that. That's why they explicitly banned religion from being involved in politics. These people have eroded that line between church and state over the course of 50 years to the best of their ability, and they've succeeded at this point. It's basically gone now. Religion and politics are indistinguishable from each other at this point, sadly. When you hear things like this, it's pretty obvious that religion and politics are now one. This is from mid-July 2022. Check this one out. He's on Alex Jones talking to him about it.
When I get in here, I'm going to wage war against these evil people. People don't understand, and this is what America needs to wake up and understand right now. You need to wake up right now because your sissified churches and pastors are not going to come to the rescue. They are not involved in this spiritual battle. You need to understand that evil is evil. And America does not understand how evil is because they think that this is some kind of movie. This is a real evil takeover, and they're coming to take your children from you. They're coming to take your wealth, your life, and everything from you right now. They're going to take your free speech, and then they're going to take your life away, and it's going to be over here in this country. We only have a window. I can't imagine.
We need you in Congress bad, Jerome Davison.
Yeah, Alex Jones. This is all fear tactics. It's all fear-mongering. They're doing everything they can to scare the shit out of you and make you think this is an existential threat, so you'll do something crazy. That's what's happening right now. He's not, by any means, the only person talking about this, though. There are a bunch of different right-wing media figures out there, like a billion of them, right? And you can tell how popular an idea is in the right-wing sphere by looking at how many of these right-wing figures are talking about it. And Jerome Davison is just one of them. Alex Jones is another. I mean, they're out there, but they're far right. But what's the rest of the right wing talking about right now, is the question. Are these ideas pervasive? Are they everywhere, is my question. Before we continue, I just wanted to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get something back for your support, you can check out my Teespring. Or you can check out my Telltale Unfiltered channel. I go through long-form, unhinged sermons from all kinds of people, from Hank Kunneman to Greg Locke to Jehovah's Witnesses. So give it a look. Links are in the description. Okay, now back to the video. This is Pastor Jim Garlow, and it follows a similar theme, surprisingly. Mid-August 2022.
Leftism,
True.
or so-called, what they use the term progressivism, which really is not progressive.
No.
That is a mental illness. Sin brings a mental illness. I believe it's the writer of Ephesians, Paul, that speaks of the blindness, the spiritual blindness that comes over individuals who walk in habitual sin. And that's the only explanation that I can give for what.
Notice he's conflating being on the left with being sinful inherently. If you aren't a Republican, then you are a sinner. They are synonymous with each other, sinner and Democrat. Don't let that little conflation slip right by you.
The explanation that I can give for why people doing the kind of things that they're now doing.
Deeply wrong, man. Here's Eric Metaxas. I haven't talked about him before, but he's another far-right figure. He's a talk show host, I believe, maybe a radio show host. I don't remember what he's famous for, but anyway, he went on his show and had a guest on to talk about this very subject. Mid-August 2022. Check it out.
This is spiritual warfare, and we are now in the Normandy landing of spiritual warfare. The Democratic Party is possessed by preternatural evil. It is not a human institution anymore. It is an instrument of wicked spirits. This is demonic. Our enemies are demonic. There's no turning the other cheek. There's no being winsome. There's no compromise possible.
Here's the thing about this. So this guy's name is John Zimerak, I think. Eric Metaxas is on the left here. And right at the end, you could kind of hear him about to talk. Right at the end, he's about to say, now, I don't want people to think that we believe that the left are demons, but they are possessed by demons, is effectively what he said. It's like he's hedging without actually even hedging. Listen to this one more time. There's this little clip here.
Natural evil. It is not a human institution anymore. It is an instrument of wicked spirits.
That right there, that line of thought just justified literally anything. They are putting themselves into an ends justify the means mentality, and then they're giving themselves the justification they need to be there. They are justifying literally any action against Democrats or the Democratic Party. Lying, cheating, manipulating, stealing, attacking, whatever. Whatever. It's okay because they are demons or demon-possessed and the root of all evil. And as Jim Garlow said, Pastor Jim Garlow said a minute ago, Democrat is synonymous with sinner or mentally ill. That's the line of thinking that they're following right now. And it's deeply concerning to see this happening. Talked about this one recently, actually. This one was on the Fireside Chat channel not too long ago. This is early July 2022. This is Allison Steinberg on One America News Network, telling it like it is, telling us how she feels about Democrats.
That liberals outright love babies. Yes, between forced vaccinations at birth, formula shortages courtesy of Biden, it's no secret that these mentally deranged leftists are coming for your kids. We've been warning about it for years.
You notice that there's like a common thread through all of these. Coming for your kids, coming for your kids. Formula shortages. They're trying to destroy the country. They're possessed by demons. They're setting out to destroy everything and everybody that you love.
We've been warning about it for years, only to be met with denial from the left. According to them, abortion is a constitutional right, and life doesn't begin until the child is out of the womb. They attempt.
Okay, and nobody says that in reality. Life doesn't begin until the child's out of the womb. No, nobody believes that. Nobody is in favor of post-birth abortion. Nobody had even. I hadn't even heard that term before, and I'm about as pro-abortion as it gets, honestly. I'm not pro-choice. I'm pro-abortion. I think it's a good thing. I think we should be doing that more. And I hadn't heard about this post-birth abortion thing. It's like ridiculous. It's just made up by people like this who are scaring the shit out of old people and some younger people about how evil and demonically possessed anybody to the left of taking out the homeless for sport is.
Out of the womb. They attempt to casually sweep their obsession with literally murdering children under the rug in the name of choice.
That's not happening, but, you know, say what you need to say, I suppose, to justify an ends justify the means mentality. To put your people into an ends justify the means mentality. Say what you got to say, I suppose.
On the off chance you're uncertain about the presence of evil and the capacity of its influence upon our society, if you still need proof that liberals are sick demons who thrive on the thought of death, boy, do I have.
Yeah, it goes on from there. That's the basic point. That's what they believe. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing it all over the place. This is the right at this point. This is what they're doing. This is what deep conservatives and Trump supporters are saying right now. It's concerning, extremely concerning. I don't hate anybody for anything. I don't think these people are sick demons. I don't think they're anything. I just want them to chill out and work with me, and maybe we can make this place better for everybody. Like, how did we get here that any of these things are even in the back of their minds, let alone coming out of their mouths? This is insane. And these aren't nobodies that I've talked about. These are talk and radio show hosts, pastors, and candidates for Congress. And even some members of Congress have said things like this. In fact, a good number of them have. That's where we're at. Listen to this one. This is Allison Steinberg again, mid-August 2022. One America News talk show host.
We should all know by now that you cannot comply your way out of tyranny, and the Dutch are leading by incredible example. So why can't we do that here in America? Why are we allowing these evil elites to dictate our lives?
The Dutch thing that she mentioned there, it's a side story that's happening right now. It's not super relevant, but there are some far-right Dutch figures that are trying to protest over some crazy thing right now. It's unrelated, so I won't get into it.
Why are we allowing these evil elites to dictate our lives? Why can't we all man the hell up and fight back? I don't know about you, but I think it's somewhat ignorant to rely solely on elections to make these essential changes that our country so desperately needs.
Wow. Ignorant to rely on elections for the changes that we need. Do we even need to read between the lines, or is she just laying it out clearly for us?
When it's become abundantly clear that our entire system is rigged and corrupt, why don't we, the people, get organized and take the power back?
Yeah, so the right is going down a disturbing path at this moment. It is all over the place right now, and it is really, really concerning. Do these people believe it? Does Alison Steinberg really believe this? Does she really think that Democrats are sick demons, quote unquote? Does Jerome Davison believe the things that he's saying about the Antichrist spirit? Does he believe that the KKK really are made up of Democrats? Or is he trying to scare people into voting for him? Is she trying to scare people into watching her show? It's hard to tell sometimes. Generally, I go with two basic things. Make as few assumptions as possible and take people at their word. If they say they believe something, then generally I accept that they believe it. But to me, that's even more disturbing than the alternative. To think that they actually believe the things that they're saying, that's like a new level of messed up. I think I would prefer to believe that they're being paid by somebody to scare the shit out of people, honestly. Because if they believe this stuff, we're in worse shape than I thought. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments or on Twitter @TelltaleAtheist.